When I was a senior in high school, I really wanted to do animation in film. Like, my big dream was to be at Pixar, to be like legit computer animation. It was great. And then I ended up taking a year off, and it kind of shifted into general film, I guess. And then I didn't really know how to start that. I figured my best kind of way to go about that was to set a base of skills for myself so that I'd have a lot to pick from and a lot to learn about. And then I could figure out from that what did I like the most and go on and continue in that.
I have always been interested in biomedical research and sciences, and then when I was in high school, I took a class in MATLAB, and my teacher, it was the first year teaching it, my teacher didn't know MATLAB, so he was learning it alongside us, and he had a professor come in who was working on writing a book that was kind of a translation between R and MATLAB, and that professor actually asked me to work for him. So I did 2 years programming in R and Objective-C, and I really liked it. So that's what got me started, and I realized that I thought that I would be able to make biotechnology or bioengineering and computer science mesh in a biotechnology research sort of way.
So I got interested in computing. Well, I started with graphic design, and I was really interested in digital art, and that was actually based off of my grandfather's inspiration, where he was a graphic designer in his younger days. And then I decided later on, after moving from graphic design, that computer science sounded a little bit more technical and maybe would challenge me a little bit more. And then from there, I realized I appreciated the art aspect of computers a little bit more, so I switched to new media later on, and now it's a good balance for me, I guess. I definitely appreciate new media much more than I ever did with computer science.
I always kind of liked computers, and I knew I wanted to go into something to do with computers, but I wasn't sure exactly what, and I was originally planning on probably going into IT, and then my guidance counselor had me apply as computer science instead, because a lot of colleges don't actually have an IT program, and specifically, like, UMaine doesn't have an IT program. So I applied to almost everywhere as computer science, and then I got here and quickly realized IT was very different from computer science, but I think both my parents and my guidance counselor were both like, why don't you just apply for computer science rather than trying to look specifically for colleges with IT. So
I was always interested in like medicine and helping people. I thought I was going to be like a nurse or a doctor or physical therapist or something like that, but I kind of realized that working like directly with patients wasn't really like what I wanted. I wanted something with like more normal hours. You know, I didn't want to be like an on-call doctor that gets called up in the middle of the night. And I attended a women in engineering event actually at the University of Maine when I was in 8th grade. And they just brought us through a bunch of different stations that showed us the different types of engineering, and I was like really excited about that. I thought it was super interesting. And my dad was originally trained as a civil engineer, so I kind of like thought I was gonna go do that and be a civil engineer, but I always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to like do something involved in medicine. So I started looking for programs that were kind of like a combination of medicine and engineering. And so when I was a junior in high school, I found the bioengineering degree here. I went and toured the labs and met some professors, and I just figured out that it was, for me, it was a good combination of both of my interests. I mean, I went into bioengineering because I wanted to feel like I was directly helping people, and all types of engineers help people, you know, but it just felt like a more direct application when you're creating medical devices or instruments or implants or things like that that will actually, you know, end up saving someone's life or giving them a better quality of life. So
It's one of those things where sometimes I say like I just stumble into everything, but really honestly to look at it a little bit more analytically, I look for opportunities. So after I finished my undergrad degree, I went and I taught because I had an education degree and they didn't have the type of graduate school program that I wanted. So I taught for a couple of years, but I really missed research because I had done an honors thesis and I wrote a book with my undergrad advisor, and I really missed it as much as I liked teaching. So I came back and I kind of floated around different research centers using my qualitative research skills, and I started to learn a little bit about databases, enough to be dangerous mostly, but I learned enough to be able to support other people in them. And somebody asked me, I was doing some analysis for them, and they said, you're really good with all the data, like, would you like to learn how to make a map? We need a map for this project. And I was like, okay. And so I wound up taking a free GIS workshop at the library, and I loved it. And I wound up taking a couple of GIS classes thinking, I'll add them to my graduate degree whenever I figure out what that's going to be. And there came an opportunity for an NSF grant. It was called GK12, and it was available to people who are in the College of Engineering, which spatial information science used to be in the College of Engineering. And it basically offered me the chance to go to school full-time, get paid a very generous stipend, and it was about as much as I was making as a full-time research associate. So I was like, sign me up. I think that sounds like a great idea. And so I just started on my master's with that, and did my master's thesis, and then decided to go on for my doctorate.
Not exactly sure. I know when I was young, me and my brother wanted to film like videos, and so we got the world's shittiest camera. I don't know if I can say that in your interview, so I'm just going to say it again. We got the worst camera for my birthday, and so we started doing, we thought, oh, we'll film skits and we'll do this and this, and it wouldn't film, actually. It just wouldn't film. It wouldn't take pictures away from the computer, so we always had to plug it into the computer, and then it could take pictures. So we had to stop thinking about like, okay, we had to take the Apollo 13 approach. Stop thinking about what it can do, or stop thinking about what it was designed to do, and think about what it can do. It's like, okay, it can't do this, this, and this. Okay, it can take pictures connected to the computer. So we ended up doing stop motion, and we had tons of videos on that, and they're still on YouTube, and they're horrible. They're absolutely atrocious. But it meant that we were spending a lot more time on the computer, doing a lot more video editing, and then messing with the program when it was like, you can't make explosions that big. And we're like, but if we change this, we can make explosions that big. And then we started doing like a little bit of web development to add to our YouTube channel, or have our own little websites on like free webs. And then I did web development for MySpace layouts, so when everybody migrated to Facebook, I was like, this is the worst. But kind of that, just hanging around the computer, trying to do probably something stupid and fun. Just trying to work with whatever you have and make the best of it and push the limits of whatever you're given. So take things apart, put them back together, and make them hopefully better, or if you break them, at least get some enjoyment out of it.